This is Pretty Guardian Sailormoon number 4, and it's actually the reason why it's been taking me so long to produce these videos. I had no idea my local Walmart had these books, so I had to take a little extra time out for this one. Now, you know how in my last videos I said that these books were worth 1.5 to 2 books? Not this one. It's worth about 2.25 books. This one they actually tried condensing 3 books into one, and they almost succeeded. And there's a couple of notes I want to bring up about this, but first let's go to the Japanese to English comparison. The Japanese cover is again a bit washed out, and when you see this in person, even the white coloring in the background is very dull. It's almost like a parchment gray. Whereas the Kodansha American release, we have amazing detail here. We've got this beautiful, healthy skin tone on Jupiter. We've got a lot of HD details. Just absolutely great. This time, though, the logos are similar in color. You can't quite tell with the Japanese release, but this is the same color. The spines are just slightly different. Again, we have more of a pink tone on the English release than we do the Japanese. And this is one of my new favorite Jupiter picks. The Japanese version is, again, kind of pale, but it looks like it's only pale because of the lightning coming from her tiara. Whereas the Kodansha American re-release, we've got a lot of incredible shading and detail. They really took more time with this. And our rating. Please do not hand this to your children. Okay, I need to level with you guys. You know how I keep saying over and over, especially on Moon Sisters, that Sailor Moon is not now, nor was it ever intended for children? This book is why. This is the last thing on earth you ever want a child to see. But before we get to that, let's just go over a couple of loose notes here. So as mentioned before, we have some panel differentium between the original manga and the new reprints. This is a scene from Prince Demand's castle. Let me back up a little bit about this creep's name. Now, when he was first introduced to American audiences through the Deke anime, he was named Prince Diamond. And we were all pretty happy with that because we were like, hey, he's got diamonds on his cape, everybody here is based on a jewel, diamond it is. In some prints of the anime, his name goes from Demand to Diamondo. In the Kodansha reprint, he is Prince Demand. Now, this does mean I have some editing to get to on Moon Sisters. I'll get to that, but it's worth it to know what his name really is. Prince Demand. So from now on, Demand. Anyway, this is a shot from his castle where he's envisioning Neo Queen Serenity. And here we only have the one panel on the next page, as he's talking with pets. In the reprint, this is actually split to 2 panels, which looks much nicer because those peacock feathers drive me up a wall. And here we go. We have some digital redo with Neo Queen Serenity. So next time somebody harasses you online about what you do with GIMP or Photoshop, you can tell them to suck it, because this is actually done by professionals. Not just people goofing around on DeviantArt. This is done by a professional. So no more feeling bad for yourself, okay? Okay, I'm closing up on Luna because I really need to post a warning here. If you have small children in the room, if you have anybody under the age of 18 in the room, tell them to go away. Alright, if they're under the age of 13, we'll go with Kodansha's ruling. If they're young kids, tell them to please go away. The next few panels, I'm serious, I don't want children seeing, alright? Alright, do not say you weren't warned. I will not allow any flaming on this channel. Ready? So book number 4 is where, it's spicy. Let's say it's spicy. Yeah, in case you were wondering, it's about the same in the original print, too. Not much was changed here, just a difference of ink here. But yeah, this is actually the book where, well, you understand where Chibiusa comes from, right? I mean, she's not conceived here, but let's move on. Okay, we move on. This is actually a cool scene, though, not just because of chicka wow wow, but also because this is one of the only times you're ever going to see Queen Serenity and Chibiusa on the same page. I mean, this happens so infrequently now. Book number 4 is also the introduction of Sailor Pluto, which I'm just ecstatic about. Interesting thing here, though, I didn't realize how different the dialogue was. Here, when she sees mother and daughter fighting, immediately before we realize that's mother and daughter, she says to Chibiusa, "You're doing now what I've been doing for a very long time, heh." Which is in reference to Chibiusa bringing people to and from time and explaining to them how time works. That's a very simple line. When Tokyopop got their hands on the manga, they changed it. You two have always been a handful for me. This is something that kind of bothers me a little bit. It doesn't really match Sailor Pluto, and furthermore, the Tokyopop manga, and to an extent the original anime, are a lot more mean towards Usagi and Chibiusa, especially Usagi, than in the original manga. There's a few more insults in the Tokyopop version, and I just didn't realize that before. Now that I have the reprints, I feel a little bit spoiled. Another thing that's interesting too, the closer you get towards the end, the more you're going to see that Usagi realizes herself as a princess and not just Sailor Moon. This is another changed scene that I think is a little bit interesting. This is where the Sailor Senshi first arrive at the 30th century, and what a mess! This is from the original manga, as translated by Tokyopop. Here we see Sailor Moon with huge odangos, longer, straighter, wispier hair, and a more angular drawing. Whereas in the reprint, she's got a rounder face, more curly hair, her odango are much better drawn, and there's a little more detail on the locket. Also, 30th century, well, it's still a mess. That didn't really change too much. One more time, if you've got kids, send them away. Tell them to go away. I really don't want them seeing this next part, and if you flame me, so help me, I will flag you. Now, right at the scene where Sailor Moon gets kidnapped by Diamondo, that's actually where we come to the end of book number 6. However, with book number 6 of the Tokyopop version. However, in book number 4, this just leads to the rest of the Diamondo story. Or Prince Demand. Sorry about that. Now, you might be wondering, well, why am I closing in on Mamoru? Okay, remember when I said something happened? Well, this is how Act 20 really began, with this beautiful shot of Chibiusa's parents. And I'm happy to report that this beautiful picture is put back to its original segment, and it's now Act 21. Some of the numbers did change with the manga, I have no idea why. And yeah, that doesn't leave anything to the imagination at all. And you want to know what's really cruel about Tokyopop? When the original book starts, it actually starts off with this picture of Chibiusa, printed on the same picture as, hello! This is corrected in the new manga. You won't see Chibiusa here. I will warn you though, content-wise, there's a lot of questionable action going on. I mean, she wakes up totally redressed in Prince Demand's castle. And fanfickers around the world have speculated as to what he did while she was there. Although I love this scene where she just decks him. That's just awesome. Also, we learned that Chibiusa is not a kindergartner. This was never addressed in the anime, but in the manga, she's 900 years old when they first meet her. And if you buy the book legally, link at the bottom of this video, you will understand why. Also, there are translation notes in the back, and this is very important for fans of these two. You know who you are. But again, no additional manga, whereas in the Japanese version, we have another manga here, drawn with extra notes about, hey, that's Hotaru! Drawn about some of the later series characters. if you are a Sailor Moon fan, you are going to need this book. The next book, book number 5, which is due out in a few weeks, is going to go into to Chibiusa as an evil character.